Hello comrades, you're watching RedIvanAirsoft, and today we'll talk about uniforms and equipment of the Naval Infantry Scout of the Black Sea Fleet during the Second Chechen War, specifically September 1999 to April 2000. I will start with the brief historical overview. The scouts of the Black Sea Fleet's Naval Infantry arrived in the area bordering Chechnya on September 11, 1999. 3 weeks after additional training, they began to carry out their tasks, remaining on deployment for 210 days. During the deployment, the scouts were engaged in the wide range of tasks. They escorted the 876th Separate Air Assault Battalion of the Naval Infantry of the Northern Fleet, assisted in the movement of the various units into their operational areas, and conducted searches. One Marine was even sent to a GRU Special Forces unit to establish radio communication. Also, according to the commander's recollections, sometimes Naval Infantry scouts directly participated in combat due to the lack of the prepared alternative. Finally, let's talk about uniforms and equipment, and we'll start with uniforms. The Naval Infantry personnel wore service uniforms of the Combined Arms Cut, featuring the Barvikha camouflage pattern. Barvikha was adopted in 1993, but originally it was developed in the USSR as a part of the Bhutan project. Although the uniforms had a Combined Arms Cut, it was traditional for Scouts and Naval Infantry Air Assault units to tuck their service jacket into their pants. Scouts could also be seen in the Soviet-era Gorka suits, but most often they wore a combination of the field camouflage uniforms with a Gorka jacket over the service jacket. Sometimes this Gorka jacket was also tucked into their trousers. Of course, they wore their famous attribute, the dark blue striped tельняшка. Belts. Both naval officers' black leather belts were used, as well as sailors' belts with a brass anchor buckle, specifically the leather service type, not the canvas field version. Headgear. Both blue under helmets and Barvikha camouflage hats were common. In fact, the knitted camouflage items like this started appearing in mid-90s and typically included a hat, an army sweater, and a pilot sweater. Later, with the transition to flora camouflage, camouflage under helmets also emerged. In my case, this hat resembles more of the Soviet-style hats designed for tourists or skiers, featuring so-called ridge. It's not ideal because more common were so-called Chechenka hats, which are excellent at wrapping tightly around the head. Civilian winter hats in black and olive colors, as well as black berets, were also common. I assume that the field caps were also used in the springtime, because a beret is more of a service headwear rather than the field gear, and is not practically convenient. However, I do not have pictures to support this. Boots. It is hard to identify boots on the low quality pictures from 90s and 2000s, but as far as I can tell, they were both деревяшки, or model of 1981, as well as so-called крокодилы. Scouts at that time did not wear the body armor. So let's talk about the load-bearing equipment. Various commercial load-bearing rigs, popular with MVD troops, could be seen in the pictures. ANA V95 load-bearing vest, a load-bearing rig from NPO-SM in the Tovet Snow or Tali Sneg pattern, some load-bearing rig in Barvikha, but the majority of the scouts had Vydra, or in English Otter, load-bearing rigs. The history of the Vydra load-bearing vest began back in the Soviet Union in 1987, and according to the designer Evgeny Raskazov, it is in no way related to the American LBV. Not at all. Despite the LBV appearance in 1988, the first Vydra units were not produced until 1992. The first version of Vydra was made in black, the pouches closed with buttons, and featured plastic Fastex buckles. This variant was obtained by the Czech Special Police. And by the way, it is not the one you see on the screen right now. The one you see on the screen is another experimental black Vydra of 1994. It's just I could not find that picture because it's impossible these days. In September of 1993, Vydra vests were adopted by the Federal Border Service, and the first 500 sets were manufactured by the then young company Splav. The Vydra vests for the border guards were made in a rare camouflage pattern and were supplied with backpacks. At some point, some additional updates to the design were made. In this version, the plastic Fastex buckles were replaced with the webbing strap, featuring D-rings and fastened with Velcro and the button to improve the repairability. Over time, Vydra continued to evolve and undergo changes, but along with the original, copies of the systems also developed. Interestingly, these counterfeits often appeared on the GRU operatives as early as 1995 and 1996, such as on this photograph by Nemenov. I would like to take a closer look at this particular photograph because firstly, the soldier on this picture later became a well-known writer, and secondly, his appearance is worth mentioning. He is wearing a BDU patrol cap in Bhutan camouflage, trousers in an experimental Soviet version of Barvikha camouflage, and that counterfeit copy of Vydra in Barvikha. Where this counterfeit originated from is unknown to me. However, it is possible that the Marines of the Black Sea Fleet, who were one of the first participated in testing of the original Vydra, could initiate the development of this counterfeit version. This Vydra, like the original one, fastens in the front with two Fastex buckles. There are also two straps with Alice buckles to tighten the load-bearing equipment even more. On each side there are two double pouches for Kalashnikov magazines. The pouches resemble those of the Chinese Chechen and close with wooden toggles. Between and behind the pouches there is space for a signal flare or a bayonet. In total there are 4 such slots. Also, on each side there is a small pouch with similar toggles. I would guess these are for grenades, but the grenade pouches are lower, so these are probably for the bandage or an S-mark tourniquet. Regarding the grenade pouches, they have built-in elastic band and close with hooks, allowing for carrying 2 grenades on each side. There are belt loops on the grenade pouches and at the bottom of the vest. Marines would wear this system with an officer's or sailor's belt, while the Special Forces operative in the Nemenov's photo did not use a belt. On the sides there are 2 straps with D-rings for adjusting the sides, and the height of the shoulder strap is also adjustable. But personally I find this range of adjustment insufficient. Between the grenade and magazine pouches there is a small elastic band to tuck away the loose ends of the strap. Interestingly, in this photograph the sailor has adopted the elastic band to carry an NSP flare. There are 3 pockets on the back. The central large pocket has an adjustable neck, and the 2 smaller ones on the right and left close with a webbing strap with Velcro. On the right side of the central pocket there is a hidden zipper, and on the inside of the chest panels there are pockets for documents. Additional equipment. Here everything follows the Soviet standards. ROP flares, NSP flares, first aid kit, S-mark tourniquet. The radio model is R148, 6H4 Soviet bayonet, possibly 6H5 was also used, but on the pictures I mostly see 6H4. Soviet mountain shooter's goggles, which was quite surprising to me. Interestingly, on the pictures and videos I did not see any canteen. However, I can bet that they used standard Soviet general issue canteen, or possibly the Soviet combined canteen and kettle, so-called VDV canteen. And most likely they carried them in the backpack. However, I prefer to have one readily accessible on the belt. To carry wok shells, they used either PSB or the standard Soviet wok pouch converted to a bandolier. It is hard to tell which one is this. Small arms. Most of the fighters were equipped with Kalashnikov AKS-74, both with wooden and the plum furniture. And as always for YouTube, this is not a real firearm, this is an airsoft toy, so stop restricting my videos. Often fighters use them with RPK-74 magazines. Interestingly, in the Naval Infantry and some airborne units, the AKS-74 remained in use for a longer time and only began to be replaced with AK-74M in the early 2010s. During their service life, a lot of them were converted into AK-74M. However, I could spot few original ones here and there, Next one is AKMS, often seen in the photographs with 75 round drum magazine, EKS-74U, PKM machine gun, Dragunov Sniper Rifle, GP-25 underbarrel grenade launcher, rocket-propelled grenade RPG-26 Aglen, and F1 and RGD-5 grenades. And again, YouTube, this is not a real grenade, this is an airsoft replica. Tagin hasn't imported grenades like this to us for the last 2 years, so Tagin, ITF, Customs, where are the grenades? We need more grenades. Where are the grenades? Tagin, ATF, Customs. Okay, and now let's see how it all looks together. Okay, comrade, I hope you liked this video, subscribe to the channel, comment, put like and share this video with your friends, so the channel can grow. If you can, support this channel financially. Besides the links in the description, we now have YouTube subscription service available for us. This uniform ain't cheap and the quality of the video costs us money, so if you can help, your help will be essential. See you soon.